Okay, today we're going to be learning about Group 1 verbs and how we change them from their must form into the potential or can-do form. So let's start by looking at this list of verbs. What do you notice that all these verbs have in common? Now first, I must stress that we've been learning the verbs in their polite must form. If we were to try and find these words in a dictionary, we wouldn't find it in their must form. We'd find it in a dictionary form, or sometimes known as plain form. And these verbs, Group 1 verbs, are sometimes known as the U verbs. And that is because if you took away the must, the last sound, it's otherwise known as a phoneme, it actually changes to an U. Now if we looked at the first verb here, iimasu, okay, in the dictionary we'd find it under iu. If we looked at kaerimasu, we'd have to look under kaeru. Kikimasu, kiku, kirimasu, kiru, etc. Now, if we look at these verbs in their must form, what do they all have in common? Well, the last phoneme before the must is an I sound. They all have that in common. And that's going to be important for our transformation from the must form into the can-do form. The final I sound is substituted by an E sound. So let's take an example. Iimasu actually means to say. If we substitute the I for an E, it changes to I can say. Iemasu. Tsukaimasu. Tsukaemasu. Kikimasu would change to kikemasu. The last one is slightly more difficult, hanashimasu, to speak, and that would change to an E sound, and that would be hanasemasu. Now let's look at this used in a sentence. The question we're going to look at today is, can you read the Japanese newspaper? Now, as we know in Japanese sentences, the subject comes first in the sentence, and the verb is at the end of the sentence. So, first of all, Japanese newspaper is the subject. Nihongo no shimbun. The verb at the end of the sentence, and we're doing the can-do form of read. And so we know now that the I sound changes to an E sound. So yomimasu will be yomemasu, and ka for question. Now, for all the doing verbs that we've learnt so far, we've been using the particle o. But when we use a can-do form, the potential form, the particle changes to ga. Nihongo no shimbun ga yomemasu ka? What do these questions mean? フランス語が話せますか? 午後3時までに帰れますか? That's the end of Group 1 verbs.